Lastly, I'm not expecting anyone in this who's watching this to understand. I'm just gonna tell it to you right now because I know there are gonna be some people who I know who watch this and there's like, oh, Kevin, you're going to that excuse. But it's like, it's true. Unless you really know, unless you actually have autism, unless you really know what it's like, you can't fathom what I'm going through. It's something that unless you have the condition, you can't really fully understand it. And like, you can make the effort, and I that's part of why I'm making this video, not just to speak my truth and finally be able to come to terms with my own self about this, but also where it's like I encourage others to follow my wife's example, to learn about this condition and understand if you, because like statistics are 1 in every 30 people in the world are neuroatypical. So that means for every new mother, for every set of 30 new mothers, at least one of them will have a child like me. And like my wife, I had a lot of talks with my wife where it's like, because autism is proven to be quite inheritable, and she had to navigate the fact that she's not only going to have an autistic husband, but there's a good chance that if we have children, inshallah, at least one of them will be like me, most likely. Doesn't mean it's not a guarantee, but because it's still unclear how much it is inheritable, but studies show that it is quite inheritable. And like, I always thought that my condition made me like the freak of the family. I was like an outlier, but I recently found out that it actually runs within certain parts of the family, and most likely one of my grandfather had it because when I got to go to Mexico and I got to know him, and like my mom would always say, "You're so much like him," and it's like I saw how he carried himself, and it's like, yeah, that's me. That's me. But the reason I'm talking about this is just to let everyone know, if you are with some, or if you have a loved one, or if you have a friend, or if you just have an acquaintance or a colleague who's autistic, stop trying to hold us to neurotypical standards. We are not like you. We process things more sensitively than neurotypicals. And I'm not trying to like divide people or cause us to be like stigmatized, but this is my truth. This is my experience in these days now. Whereas many people are confused as like, why is Kevin like just walking away from a lot of things? You know, I stopped being as active in my masjid. I stopped teaching. I stopped other things, and I really just downsized a lot in my life in order to focus on the things I really wanted to do. And I also had to like remove a lot of noise. I had to remove a lot of things that I didn't have passion for anymore. I didn't have a love for. I gave like certain things like my sneakers or some clothes. And yeah, that could be standard like, oh, you're just donating, but it's like no, I really just started downsizing my life because I needed to reduce all the noise around me. I was becoming a minimalist in order to survive. And also, like, alhamdulillah, I'm still doing my master's and I'm very focused on doing that and continuing my path to becoming a chaplain, inshallah. But I needed to, like, step away from the limelight for a little bit and rediscover who I am and what I love, what's me, because I also realized I was holding back parts of myself in order to fit in certain communities, especially the Muslim community. Like, I could make an entire series of videos talking about this thing alone, but like ultimately I was masking myself. I was changing myself into something I wasn't to make others comfortable, but I just can't do that anymore. I I couldn't I'm burnt out on that. And ultimately, as I say again, I'm done letting other people tell me who or what I'm supposed to do. Allah is my only command. But at the same time, if anything like that makes people uncomfortable, or you know what, I don't care. And if it really does make you uncomfortable, that's your problem, not mine. It's not my job to make people comfortable. And for those of you out there who have the same condition, it's not yours either.